Hare Krishna, Swami Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much. It was a very
Welcome, Mataji.
lovely divine kirtan today. Thank you so much. And with the Jagannath yatras around the corner, I think it was most appropriate. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, all devotees. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining us today for yet another wonderful chapter, chapter 14 today. It's called the Gunatra Vibhaga Yoga, or this is all about 3 modes of nature. We have been talking a lot about it, throughout the chapters that we discussed until yesterday. So we will look at that today. And thank you so much for joining on Sunday evening. It just shows how blessed you are. It just shows how interested you are in pursuing your spiritual path. Thank you so much. And I'm sure, this chapter, the 14th chapter, will also give you the taste of what spirituality can really do for us. And it'll also it'll indicate various points as to how we can advance in our spiritual life, which will only bring in bliss, and there's nothing second to that. So before I start the class today, I will do the Mangalacharana. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshurun Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So everybody, yes, Hare Krishna.
ஒரு பாட்டு பாட்டுங்களா?
மாதாஜி நாளைக்கு பண்றீங்களா?
ஓகே மாதாஜி.
சரியா?
ஓகே.
Thank you மாதாஜி.
Hare
Krishna மாதாஜி. Hare Krishna. Mataji wanted to sing a song, so Mataji, come tomorrow, okay? Please join us tomorrow.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, we will start the class. I know it's a Sunday. I don't want to keep you all waiting. This is a short chapter actually, but I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. And you may want to have a lot of discussions around a lot of things. So it all depends on you today. I will not force you. I will stop. I will try and finish the class sharp at 8. So this chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, is all about the 3 gunas. The 3 gunas that are there in the material nature or the Prakriti, and which influences all the conditioning that we go through as the living entities or the jivatmas. Okay, and they play a huge role in our concept of life, and it also plays a very huge role in helping us to become more liberated. This knowledge will also help us to ensure that we are aware of the things that can or that are likely to be working against us, and therefore it will awaken the conscience within us so that we are able to pick up or adapt and adopt a lot of qualities that will help us to kind of rise above all the normal. Okay, so can everyone see my screen? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, can someone read the first translation which is there on the slide?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
14.1. The blessed Lord said, "Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection."
Right. So here, as I always said, the Lord always, gives us a bit of a background, and he not only gives us the theory behind what he is trying to tell us, but he also explains the practical aspects of things. And this verse, he repeats, he said, "Again I will declare to you the supreme wisdom, and this is the best of all knowledge," which he has already said in the previous chapters. He said the most confidential knowledge. And it is with this wisdom that many of the previous ancestors, all the wise men, the sages, attained that supreme perfection, and thereby they have been liberated from this conditioned aspects of the living entities. Okay. 14.2. Can someone read this? Hare Krishna.
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here he talks about the Brahman. Okay. He is the Brahman. He is the supreme Brahman. And all of us are part and parcel of that supreme Brahman. So when one is able to understand that, he says, one is not born at the time of creation. If we are able to, through the qualities, that we can imbibe, that we have studied so far. We learned about 20 qualities yesterday, and we're also going to talk about the different modes that will represent those qualities in different aspects in this chapter. So he says, one who is able to understand these things very well, and not just the jnana alone, which he has said in chapter 11 and 12. He said you also need to realize that knowledge. You need to put that into practice. So when we put that into practice, he says, it's absolutely possible for us to kind of completely liberate ourselves from the punarapi janmam and the punarapi marana. Okay, from the cycle of the birth and death, which is constantly moving, like the giant wheel. So we want to hop off the giant wheel. So therefore, if that's what we need to be doing, if that's the purpose of our goal, that's the aim. The goal of knowledge is to attain liberation, right? So if it is that is the purpose of our life, then he says we will be able to become part of that Brahman. We'll go and join the Lord back in his form as a supreme Brahman. Okay. So 14.4 says, Sarva yoneshu kaunteya murtayah sambhavantiyah tasham brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradaha pita. Can someone read this translation, please? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Muti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am seed-giving father.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So here the Lord, see the Purusha is the Lord. Prakriti is this inferior energy. The Lord is a Purusha. He sows the seed of all the creation. We saw that in the previous chapters, right? He is the Karanodakshaya Vishnu. He is the cause of all causes. He is the one who is responsible for the creation. Okay. So he says that he being the seed-giving father, and that's something we need to understand. And it's not the material nature by itself that creates us. It is the Lord who creates us in this material nature. And in fact, Prabhupada in the previous verse gives an example. I believe the scorpion often lays its eggs in the rice bags and rice mounds that are kept in the godowns. And the little ones come out of it, once the eggs hatch. So very often people might think, the scorpions have come out of the rice. No, it is the mother scorpion which has laid her eggs there, and the little ones came out of that. Yeah. So similarly, we also come out of this material nature by the grace and by what the Lord has in store for us based on our desires. Remember, everything is based on the living entity or the living body that we get is based on our desires, and as well as a lot of deeds that we carry with us from the several births in the past. Okay. So so this is the previous one which we also saw. I remember Bittai and Prabhu saying he gets scared when he sees this. Yes, I don't think we need to be scared. I think this is a beautiful opportunity for us to get this understanding of how life is created and what is the meaning of being as a living entity in the body of a human form. I think this is the most opportunistic moment that is there with all of us, and we should seize this moment and try and see how we can uplift ourselves so that we move away from this mundane material plane. Okay. Hare Krishna. So from here onwards, he's going to talk about the three gunas. The first section was all about the knowledge part, which is what we just saw. From 14.5 onwards, up until I think about 14.5 to 14.18, we're going to see, or we are going to, discuss about the gunas, the various characteristics of the gunas, and how each one of them represent in our real lives, and also with some examples. Okay, so 14.5 reads as Sattvam Rajas Tama iti Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibadat Nyanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. Hare Krishna. Can someone read this translation?
Hare Krishna. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, it becomes conditioned by these modes.
Exactly. So the Prakriti is the platform, and when we and the Prakriti, the material nature, has in it the mode of goodness, the sattva concept, the rajasic elements, and as well as the tamasic elements. And when the living entity or the soul, embodied in a specific body or a form, comes in contact with this, he becomes conditioned by these modes. As I said before, these modes are present in all of us. Now, the degree to which it is present, gives us the quality of our behavior, our thoughts, and action. Okay, so let's understand what these three modes in isolation can be. Okay, and then please remember, in composite form is how we kind of represent these as a behavior. Okay, and I'm also going to share with you a link, which after this class, where you can, later in the day, go and attempt that link and see how you are, how your composition of your own gunas are. Okay. 14.6. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnanti jnana sangena chanaga. Can someone read this translation?
O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in the mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness.
Exactly. So this is a muting. I don't know if this, there is actually a little player embedded here. Let me see if it plays. Okay, it's not playing. Sorry. It's not playing. Okay. So now what he says here is the mode of goodness is definitely the highest of all the three gunas. The sattva guna is definitely superior, and it is illuminating. Illuminating meaning it's enlightening, it's informative, it is educative. These are some of the qualities of those people. The people who have more of the sattva guna in them are far more leaned towards enriching their knowledge, okay, and as well as more knowledge bound, which kind of helps them or should give them that level of enhancement, okay, of their knowledge, which will kind of give them the opportunity to get away from anything which is not meaningful. But however, knowledge sometimes can also be crippling. Can somebody say why knowledge can also become a negative element in us? When someone is highly educated, these are people who are highly educated, who are who gain a lot of degrees by way of education, by following their passion on certain subject and things like that. But they can also fall under under this mode of goodness as well. Can somebody tell me how that would happen? Hare Krishna.
They would always judge people.
Okay, they
and see their mistakes and everything.
Okay, very good. So they also become a little pride. Pride can get into them, right? That I know better than the other person, right? Hare Krishna. Yeah, would that be so? Is
Yes,
that what you're trying to
Mataji.
say? Yes. Anyone else? Any other point that you want to talk about? Someone who is highly educated, but someone doesn't represent that education, in terms of their behavior. Anything else comes to mind? Yes, Mataji,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Yes.
Mataji, Agam Singh Prabhuji is telling that ego and pride will develop in such person.
Yes, ego and pride is largely develops in these people. And another Prabhuji just said something. Hare Krishna.
They can't control their knowledge. I mean, jnana.
Jnana. So, they try to show off, right? So ego, pride, showing off, they get judgmental about others, who are not as perhaps as good as them. Excellent. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So,
let's go for a stroll in the countryside. Look. I brought us a healthy picnic lunch. The air is clean here, so peaceful. Here we can get away from the agitating elements of the city.
so what does this video say about the person? Hare Krishna.
He's trying to teach something.
Yeah. And then he's also like, trying to show off, oh, I've got a picnic lunch. Huh? So the people in such mode, if you see, where do you think they will be on this mode? Thinking, feeling, and willing. How would their thinking be? How would their willings and willingness be? Yeah. So one second. Let's go back. Okay. So these are. Sorry. 1 minute. I don't know. 1 minute. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So such a person is a happy person, definitely. Far more, you feel a little more nice with them. They give you a lot of positive energy. Okay. And their thinking is never bad, on the bad side. And their thinking, feeling, and willingness is all on the frame of, on the goodness plane. Okay. And 14.7, Rajo Ragamat Makam Vidhi, Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam, Tan Nibandyanti Kaunteya, Karma Sangena Dehina. Can someone read this translation? And there is a video also there. Can someone read this translation? Hare Krishna.
The mode of passion is born of unlimited desire and longing, O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bonded to material fruitive activities. Hare
Right.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. The previous one was a lot about by sharing, caring, and giving, right? So they go away to a far off place, and here the person says, oh, I've brought some fruits for you, and he wants to share and give, and all that. So let's look at the situation when the person could be in the Rajasic mode, and this video probably will.
What are you doing, man? Out here working on your can? Honey! I bet you forgot about Susie, didn't you? You're supposed to take her to Vegas this weekend. Lose your money, Vegas. You'll be rich. You'll reach the top. Just one hitch. You just got stuck. Just keep getting it.
So what did you see here in this video?
Like encouraging to achieve something.
Yeah, encouraging to, it seems like he's encouraging him to look for something higher. Yes. And what else? He also spoke of money. He said, you'll become rich. Right?
Yes.
But do you see the reaction of the other person who is there with him?
Yes.
He seems a little uncomfortable. Whereas in the previous video you saw, that person felt comfortable in whatever way it was. He felt comfortable. Right? So the people who are on the mode of goodness, they are sharing, caring, compassionate, very, very gentle. Okay, they make people feel very comfortable. Whereas the Rajasic people are likely to be a little more, overbearing, overwhelming. And if the other person also is not in the Rajasic mode, he is likely to get a little, they'll get a little startled. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Suppressed. It can even threaten them. They can also be a little threatening to people who are not the same as them. Okay. So you see the prey the person is feeling there. He's not feeling comfortable at all. In no way. Right. Okay. So these people are more at the sense gratification level and more at the, they really not very, they don't really look at strengthening of their intellect and all that stuff. They're more at just the body and the emotional level, because they're highly attached kind of people, right? Because they want those kind of money and that kind of richness because for themselves, for their family, for their loved ones, right? For them, everything else other than their own is non-existent, right? So those people are more at the feeling level, at the physical level and at the emotional level. They're not at the intellectual level at all. Whereas the Sattva Guna person is above the, is beyond the sense gratification and the emotional. He's more intellectual, right? So here, this is about the Tamaguna person. Let's read this. Can someone read the translation, please? And we'll play the video.
O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
This is the most impossible condition. Thank you, Mataji. This is the most impossible condition or the most impossible form that anyone can be, right? So let's play this video.
That's a bad bird. I think you just need to chill with me. I got 6 packs in the fridge, play some video games, watch some TV, shut the curtain, just shut out the world. Sounds good, huh?
So this condition can lead one to the most fallen, state, and it is beyond redemption. It's very difficult for them to come out of the state, and each one of us should guard ourselves from such addictions and such things that will make it impossible for us to kind of come out of it, and as well as make life difficult not only for us but also for a whole lot of us who look upon to us or probably love us. And they just, and nobody will accept them the way they are, at least unless they make an effort, and that effort is going to be highly, highly difficult. You see, the Rajasic person comes and looks at him and goes away. It was the same boy with whom the Rajasic person had even interacted with and wanted him to reach a higher level. And you also saw that the Sattva Guna person coming over, and he's so upset. Here was a person who was happily, with him, who had gone for a picnic, and here he is completely fallen. It's so difficult for any of them to extend an arm to give them help, because they are so caught in this condition of indolence that has led them into a mental depressive state, which is like a vegetative state, which is not a state which will help them to flourish and uplift themselves. Okay, so now here such people are more at the the very physical level. Okay, very physical level. Their thinking is low. They're constantly at the physical level, wanting to do things which are more, that will give them sense gratification, and they're just completely unfit for the society, because they really are of no use to anybody other than making more of problems, and probably they live off the wealth that is created by their siblings and their family, and probably on the society as well, because the society has to really help them to come out of this. There's a lot that the society has to do as well, right? So 14.19, he says, Sattvam Sukhe Sanyati Rajah Karmani Bharata Jnanam Avrityatu Tamaha Pramade Sanjayati Uta. Can someone read this? Hare Krishna.
The mode of
The
goodness,
mode of
Yeah.
the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions him to fruits of action, and ignorance to madness.
Yeah, so here's this little summary. So the mode of goodness conditions ones to happiness. There's happiness, okay? There can't be anything else other than the spreading of that positivity in a person who is sattvic. In the passion, it conditions to the fruit of, he's always, running, for money, hankering for wealth, hankering for, name and fame and stuff like that. And ignorance is nothing but only madness. And it is just a rotten form of life. It's even worse than an animal life. At least an animal does something for itself. It gets up in the morning, it starts looking, animal and birds start looking for their food, and then they care for their little ones, and then they probably live their life that way. But this a person, the ignorant, a human body in the ignorance state is absolutely a waste body. Okay. 14.10. Can someone read this translation? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Partha, and sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and at the other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Hare
Can
Krishna.
someone tell me what you understood of this verse? It's a beautiful verse. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Can someone tell me what this verse means to you?
Sometimes people become selfish and they don't think of others, and they become more passionate, and they would do anything to achieve what they want.
Yeah. So as I said, thank you, Mataji. As I said, these three modes are constantly present in all of us. Sometimes the mode of goodness, is high. And sometimes the mode of passion overtakes that mode of goodness. So that time we will become very rajasic. And there are times when we allow the mode of ignorance to completely engulf us. Okay. While I might be overall a very rajasic person, I might sometimes indicate, some sparks of goodness here and there in me. And I may also indicate some sparks of ignorance in me. Are you getting me?
Yes, Mataji.
There is a composition of these three gunas in all of us. And we should be aware of them. And that's why I repeatedly keep saying, every day after you finish your day, contemplate. Do maybe if some of you have a habit of writing diary, that's the best way. What happened? How did you react to a certain situation? What were the actions that you did, and how were those actions perceived by others, and how did you perceive some of the actions, and what made you stay within limits, and when were you out of your limits? Because when you do this kind of an analysis, it doesn't take time, maybe half an hour. See, every day we have 24 hours. In the 24 hours, definitely 12 hours goes away for basic some 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and then some basic other things that we have to do, to keep for the upkeep of our body and our homes and things like that. Then you have another 12 hours where probably 2 hours are going away in travel, and then 8 hours of work, but 2 hours are still there. Somewhere if you can manage half an hour in between for your own self-realization, do that little bit of, introspection, as we call it. When you do that little even if half an hour is too much, take 15 minutes. Have that me time of 15 to 30 minutes. It's not that for 8 hours we are studying. It's not that for 8 hours we are constantly working, even when we are at work. Some people may say, oh, I work for 8-10 hours. Fine, even if you work for 10 hours, the work does not take 10 hours. You still can steal some time out of it and keep some me time for yourself. And that me time is the time when you have to do that level of contemplation and thinking. And that is what will help you to kind of figure out which are the areas where you think you need to improve. And maybe sometimes you can also ask some of the people who are very close to you, ask them for a feedback about the way you react, the way you act. And that will also give you some indication as to which are the areas that are there for your own self-improvement. Okay, that is very, very essential. The Bhagavad Gita is giving us all the cues. So we have to take those cues and implement them in our day-to-day life in the best way that we can do it. And some of these are like very simple things, which where we don't need someone else to do it for us. We can do it ourselves. Okay. So this is how the mind gets pulled. The mind, I told you, is a friend and as well as your enemy. So if you want to make your mind your friend, you need to avoid these gunas pulling you in all directions. Okay. 14.11. Why is 14.11 coming here? Okay. The manifestations of the good mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So what kind of qualities, get represented when one is predominantly in the mode of goodness? If you have to tell me, if someone is in the sattvic guna, what do you think will be their general behavior?
Should be humble.
Compassionate.
They are kind-hearted.
Humble, kind-hearted. Excellent. Thank you, Matajis. What else?
They deal situation very calmly.
Very nice. Excellent.
They forgive easily.
Okay. They forgive easily. Okay. These people, because of these qualities that you just mentioned, they're so positive. Okay. You feel a sense of happiness when they're around. And these people always have a purpose in their life. They are not without any purpose. And they are those bright kind of people where you want to, where you will want to go to when you have something that you need some discussions on. And generally, these are people who are very, very forward-looking. Okay. And at the same time, they're value-based, which is what makes them, stay in that guna. They are not people who easily fall prey to any of the things that will lead them to their own misery. So they're a little far more careful than the other. They're a little more guarded than the Rajasic and the person in the mode of ignorance. Okay. For them, it's not that, people in the mode of goodness don't make money. They will also be engaged in fruitful work, but the wealth and the fame that they get does not go into their heads. They don't have the chip on the shoulder. Maybe once in a while, because I told you, we all have the composite gunas in us. Once in a while, they may appear a little different, but predominantly, they will be people with a lot of positive energy and also with purpose in their mind. And they will be a friend to all people. Yeah? Most people will like to go to them. They will not be one of those people where someone will have an aversion, and neither will they have aversions to it, because they know that everything is for a purpose. So they're not someone like one of the Mataji said, they're far more forgiving. If someone doesn't like something, they're okay with it. If someone likes it, they're fine with that too. They're okay in all kinds of situations. Thank you. 14.12. Can someone read this?
O chief of Vartas, when there is increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering and intense endeavor develop. So
these are the chief characteristics of a person in the Rajasic guna. Thank you, Mataji. So can somebody wants to give some real life examples of people, who you see in the Rajasic mode? What kind of behavior, what kind of thought process, what kind of actions would these people typically have?
The best people are the example of this type of people are politicians.
Okay, what else?
They first request us, then after that they kick us up, very nicely.
I'm scared of politicians, and these days I feel very scared to talk about politics. You don't know,
Yes, yes.
and my our session has also gone live, so you don't know who will watch when, and they'll come. Somebody will come.
Yes.
Huh? They'll catch me. Huh? They'll say, "Come."
Blaming ISKCON.
Huh?
Blaming ISKCON for
They'll
all.
blame ISKCON. No, they'll blame me. They'll take me. These are people who are driven by desires, endless desires. They'll go on till the last breath of their life. They'll go on, more. I want more, I want more, I want. And this has been their time immemorial. It's not only just now. Nothing has changed. Everything has remained the same. Actually speaking, if you really see, if, most of you probably, would have history still in your memory. Whether you talk about the invasions that we have had, the kind of lifestyles many of these kings and all led. They led a very different life, which was Rajasic, right? They were, they have a diamond crown, and then they want some other crown tomorrow. Okay, they had a crown which is 1 feet high. They'll want 2 feet high, and the kind of clothes they wore, and the praja were, probably, the people in their kingdom, they faced the brunt of all kinds of situations, whether it was invaders or it was with respect to the nature, the turbulence in nature, and all other kinds of natural disasters. It was all faced by them. Even now it is the same. The kings have been replaced by other people. That's all. Otherwise, everything is more or less remain. Nothing has changed. Therefore, having that consciousness is what is important, and therefore the Bhagavad Gita is the best go-to, guide and mentor for us, which will help us to awaken the consciousness inside us. And also, if some of you are able to carry it forward and help others to develop that consciousness, I think that is what today souls need. That is what people need. That's what the world needs. We need to make more and more people Krishna conscious, conscious of the absolute truth, which is Krishna, right? So the people in the Rajasic mode are completely the condition, like what the Prabhuji said. You give me this, I will give you this. Like the votes मांगते हैं. Okay, हम आपके लिए कुछ देते हैं. मुझे वोट दो, मैं आपके लिए कुछ करूंगा. रोड बनाऊंगा या I'll make a bridge for you. I'll give you a free cycle. I'll give you a free scooter. Some freebies. They said. I'll make your electricity bill. The government will pay the electricity bill. We'll give you free schooling. All kinds of things. Tamashas happen. You know it better than me, right? So these are people who are always me, mine, I. Okay, and not only me, mine, I, but also they're like my family, my people, my son, my daughter. They go on with it. They go on hankering. So these people, for them to get into the Sattva Guna is really, will happen only when they get into the deep contemplation. Very few people can come out of that, because material desires are so strong. So strong. So we have to guard ourselves from those material desires. 14.13. Hare Krishna. Can someone read this?
O son of Kuru. Okay, you read.
Yeah, read it.
Read, Mataji.
O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested.
Yeah. So this is the most, I think, the saddest part of human life for anyone. And I pray and hope that nobody gets into this. And if we find somebody into that, and if they have a desire to come out of it, I think we must help them to come out of it, because this is worse, as I said, than even the life of a tree or a plant. It's worse. So these are people with no purpose in life, and they feel everything is a waste, and therefore they think, why should they work? Their habits are so annoying that even their own family members will start hating them. They'll have relationships issues. As I said, it's a miserable life. Let's pray and hope that nobody gets, even a Rajasic is still acceptable, but Tamasic is going to be the worst thing. We should hope that such souls get liberation from such habits, and they improve they grow in their consciousness and they come out of these habits as quickly as possible. 14 point.
Mataji, that situation happens when someone get unsuccessful. That is the main reason.
You know what? Does being unsuccessful mean that you can't be successful in something else? Can that be even a reason? Can that be a reason? Tell me. How can
But some people says that you can't do anything. They are not fault. It is the fault of family member or the friend circle.
So therefore, you should keep away from such elements. Elements which are pulling you down, you should keep away. That's why I said, have the Bhagavad Gita as your best friend, as your best partner, as your mother, as your father, as your grandfather, whatever, in whatever form you want. Lord Krishna is there for you to support you. He will give you the guidance. You saw in chapter 10, he is like the knowledge, he is the light of knowledge. He will brighten your life up, from the darkness of ignorance that you are in. That's what he said, right?
We should also try to stay away from manipulations.
Exactly. You have to see, we have to learn. That's what I said. See, we have to therefore strengthen our intellect. We shouldn't let others to rule our life. We shouldn't let others to dictate our life. We should take a call and we should take the guidance from people who are sattvic and who will show us the path. And once you call on Krishna, the desire, see, many of you gave me such beautiful examples yesterday. When you think of good things will come upon you. So don't ever go by the things that, that others tell you. What does your own mind tell you? See, we have to work hard. Anything, see, so tomorrow I want to, give my engineering entrance. I have to study. I have to do well. Because the competition is so high. So if you do well, I'm sure something, maybe I don't get into the IIT. Maybe I'll get into another college. It is okay. Life is not all about only one college or one institution or one country or one company. It is so vast. The world is so beautiful and there's so much available for everyone. There's place for everyone. The world has place for everyone if you desire to get a place. But if you say life has become hopeless, I'm giving up, then nobody can help you. Even Krishna can't help you because Krishna will fulfill your desire. You have decided for yourself, I am hopeless. So where will Krishna do? Okay, you have decided. Krishna will say, okay, fine. I will let you in that space. But if you say, hey, Krishna, give me help. I'm feeling hopeless. Please help me so that, I can come out of this miserable condition that I am in. He's there with you. Remember that Ananya Chinta Yantoma, he not only kind of strengthens what you have, he also fills the gap that he also fills up all the weaknesses that you have. He helps you to come out of those weaknesses. Right? There's an answer to everything in the scripture. Bhagavad Gita only talks about the perfect stage of anything that you want to do. It's only perfection. It doesn't talk about anything to compromise that which can lead to imperfection. There's no compromise for perfection. Bhagavad Gita tells you perfection, 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 do your duty best to the best of your ability. Each of our abilities, we are not the same. First of all, we need to understand we shouldn't compare ourselves with anybody, because I am a Jivatma and I have my own body, and this body that I have got is based on my desire and my past life. But today I have an opportunity to outdo all of that and ensure that I improve my life path. Everyone cannot be, Michael Phelps. There can only be one Michael Phelps. But if I want to hold Michael Phelps, he's a great swimmer, one of the all-time great swimmers, right? So if I want to hold Michael Phelps as my idol, then definitely yes, fine, I can work towards it. But I shouldn't feel bad if I don't do as good as. It's okay. There's one Sachin Tendulkar. How many Sachin Tendulkars do we? One Sachin Tendulkar is there. Correct? Now, I don't have to envy him, but I can be good in my own way. I can play for my own little at a club in my own town or city or whatever. It's okay, right?
Nowadays people compare very much. That is, I don't like that.
That is Rajasic mode. You're comparing. The moment you are in the Rajasic mode, you're always comparing. Because he lives in a 4 BHK, I live in a 2 BHK, they live in a beach house, I live in a city house. There's no end to it. There's no end to it. At the time of going, are we going to carry a beach house? At the time of going, am I going to carry all my medals and go? No. Medals and all these things are only in this material plane. In the spiritual plane, it is your values, it is your ethics, it is the goodness that you cultivate in you. This is what will carry you to your next life. Okay.
No, my
now
word
that
is
you're-
that my vision is that Bhagwan, Lord has written something for you and something which is not good for you. That's why it's happened, and that's why it do not happen, right?
work hard, guys. At the end of the day, all of you are young. All that I will say is work hard, set your goal, work hard, you will get there. And never leave the path of Krishna consciousness. That is the absolute truth. There's nothing else that can even come closer to that. Okay? Live your life well. I'm not saying you should not go to play. I'm not saying you should not have friends. Choose your friends. And use your time intelligently. Don't waste your time. Okay? Everything is possible. There's nothing that is impossible. 14.15, when one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, because that's already said. Whatever you carry now, whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. And when we die in the mode of ignorance, he takes the birth in the animal kingdom, because obviously, we think, we only want that. We only want, no activity. We want things which are very, very rudimentary. Obviously, you will get that birth in the next cycle. Karmanah sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasaha phalam. Beautiful. Can somebody read this translation? 4.16.
By acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Works done in the mode of passion result in distress, and actions performed in the mode of ignorance result in foolishness.
Very easy. So Rajaguna is dukkham, because how much you see the tamasha that is happening in the political circle today. Gaddi kisko chahiye? Kya mil raha hai unko? But dukkham, distress. They not only put themselves in distress, they also put the rest of the people in the state of distress. So the economy also suffers because of that. Because they are, they want more and more. So they put their life into, misery, and they put everybody else into misery. The war that we saw of Ukraine, what was that misery? Somebody's ego. War happened. And did anybody come to help them? Nobody came to help them. They are on their own. What did they get? Dukkham. Everybody boycotted that country which went to war with Ukraine. What happened? Prices went up. There's inflation. There is, everyone is suffering. So Rajaguna, or the guna that is Rajase, passion, always leads to distress. So anything you want, whether it be with food, in fact, we'll see that in the next chapters, whether it's food, whether it's material, material things, everything we need to draw a line. And draw the line in such a way that it helps you, it gives you that much which you need only. Don't collect anything more than, because our life, please understand, this is this life. The next life is going to be different. So in this life, how much you need is what you need to do. More than that is dukkha. And Sattvika Gunam is completely in the mode of, is purifying. I mean, you're like, you feel free. You feel very, very comfortable. So obviously this life is going to be good. And this is what you're going to carry. Your next life, if one has, that will also be good. Because you're carrying good vasana. You're carrying good habits. Habits, have been, are accumulated. So you're carrying the good habits. And the mode of ignorance is foolishness. I mean, complete, utter waste of a life that is given to you, on a platter. Okay? I feel very sad when I look at all this, Here on one side is, you see the temples, which represents purity. Then you see, the middle one is slums on one side, and then there is typical of what you see in most of the cities these days. Slums on one side, and then there is wealth on the other side. And then here is the staircase going down shows, how life can really take you down if you don't follow the right things in life. So, the middle one, it really makes my heart really bleeds when I see the middle one, when I see the iniquity, it feels very, very bad. So we must make more and more people Krishna consciousness. So the people, there's nobody living in slums, it's terrible. Life in a slum is very bad. They're hardworking, huh? They're quite hardworking. Poor people are paying a price for something that they did in their past life. Okay, 4.17. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, grief develops. From the mode of ignorance, foolish madness and illusion develops. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory, right? Can someone read this translation? I'll just read the verse. Urdhavam gacchanti sattva asta madhye tishtanti rajasaha Jaganya Gunavrittista Ado Gacchanti Tamasaha. Can someone read this translation? Hare Krishna.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
Oh dear, this is terrible, right? This shouldn't happen. So these are the planets, you saw that, right? We are in the Bhurloka, the Earth planet, and then there are planets above us and there are planets below us. So from a spiritual point of view, this is what happens when you're in the mode of goodness. Spiritually, you kind of, you are uplifting yourself. So the possibility of you going upward is very high. And people who are more in the Rajasic will again, be born in universes where they will be able to, practice their Rajasic guna. And those who are in the mode of ignorance will probably, suffer in the hellish. As it is, they've made their life hell. They'll continue to, steep down, the levels that will never help them to, come out of, the misery that they're getting themselves into, right? Anyway, we don't want to get into all this. We just want to go to Goloka, not even the higher planets. Higher planets also gets annihilated. So we don't want to get into the cycle at all. So this doesn't apply to us. So let's try and see how we can improve our life and improve our thought process so that we lead a really an extraordinary life of simplicity, humility, and pridelessness, and then come out of all this, but do excellently well in whichever field we choose to do well, and be happy and make everyone else who are associated with us, with bliss. So 14.919. Can someone read this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature.
Yes. So here and now, from now, this verse onwards, he's going to talk about how can we overcome these gunas. So that's what is in our mind. We have understood the definitions of these gunas. We know the shortcomings, the pitfalls, and the goodness of the pros and cons of each of these gunas. Now he's going to tell us how can we cross over all these gunas, because even the sattva guna has some components of of ill to it, because it gets you, sometimes you can get highly proud, and it can also make you a little more connected or attached to your knowledge. The Rajasic is attached to material wealth, whereas the Sattvic person gets attached to his knowledge, and therefore that is the one which takes him to the realm of the pride. And that is also a form of attachment, right? So the Lord is now going to tell us in the next 10 verses how we can overcome these, all the three gunas, because we need to get in the Shuddha Sattva guna. Shuddha Sattvic is what we need to get into. Even the Sattvic guna has certain demerits, okay?
Mataji,
Yeah.
I have a question that you have shown me this picture before one. So there, what is the meaning of that? The Devis are controlling us.
Beg your pardon?
What is the meaning of that? The Devis are controlling us. It means
No, these are the gunas. We are just showing them as three people there. These are the gunas. See, the black is ignorance, mode of ignorance. The red represents rajasic. Red is always fury. And then the other one is mode of goodness. You saw the lady in a yellow thing is mode of goodness. So we are constantly pulled in all directions by these gunas. These gunas are around us all the time. Each one is calling us, hello, 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 hi. So we
are the one to select, right?
Yes, because God has given you the mind and the intellect. Machitta. He's given you the mind and he's given you the intellect. So you have to select. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, it can become free from we are all chained, whether the sattva guna, the rajaguna, or the tamaguna. It's a chain. So we have to break that chain. Okay? And breaking the chain is in our hands. Can someone read 14.2? Oh, that's what we did. Yeah. Today I was watching the sannyasa ceremony of one of the very bright Gurujis in the ISKCON system. It was live. Probably you can watch it on YouTube. Oh my God, the humility that each one of them, espoused. It was infectious. Actually, I had tears in my eyes when I was watching the ceremony today. You must watch it. Please watch it. Okay. So Arjuna inquired, "Oh my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior? How does he transcend the modes of nature?" So he's asking three questions. See, Arjuna asked a similar thing in chapter 2, if you remember, about Siddha Prajna. How does he sit? How does a Siddha Prajna walk? How does he sit? How does he speak? Right? Do you recall that?
Yes, Mother.
So now he's asking three questions. And those three questions are for us. Arjuna is a Gunatita, actually speaking. He is now covered under illusion, and therefore God has put him under illusion so that he can teach, or he can reproduce the Bhagavad Gita to all of us. So Arjuna is inquiring, how does one cross over these gunas, and how would the behavior be when I have crossed over, and how does he transcend these modes of nature? Okay. The first question is, what are the symptoms of one who is above these gunas? How do they transcend, or how do they cross over these gunas? And what would they be behavior be? So 3 questions. Okay, let's see how the answers. Can someone read 13.2 to 5? There's a long one. Yes, please do, Prabhuji.
The blessed Lord said, "He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a clod, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same, who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings. Such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Such a lovely passage, right? So all of this, would you all able to recall? All of this is more or less a summary of what we read in chapter 2, then in chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8, then even in the chapter that we did yesterday, the qualities of people. So does this remind you of that?
Yes, Mother.
So when one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. This is what Prabhupada says in his purport. And when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, then automatically the sense gratification stops. When you're totally Krishna conscious, your thing is all about Krishna. You forget yourself. So when you forget yourself And you've already transcended a lot of gunas that are there in you. The moment you surrender yourself to Krishna, you as a person cease to exist. Isn't it beautiful? And when that happens, you do not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Because you want this body, because you want to do seva to Krishna. Huh? And such a person need not try to become free from the influence of them. You don't have to make an effort, because you already are, when you're seeking the higher, when the higher taste is what you desire, the lower makes no sense to you. Are you with me?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes,
Huh?
Mataji.
You understood the three things I said? When you're conscious of the material body, then you're doing things more for yourself. So sense gratification is what moves you. But once your consciousness is all towards Krishna, then anything which is non-Krishna is meaningless to you.
Yes.
Samajh mein aaya?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
And such a person obviously is not bothered about honor or dishonor, because for him, it is all about pleasing Krishna. And when he wants to please Krishna, automatically whatever he does at the material plane, see, when you're at the spiritual plane, it just flows. This is what I heard one of the Prabhujis say in that sannyasa ceremony. When you're at the spiritual plane, when you're working for Krishna, you're automatically, all your energies are also, flowing down to the material plane. And it's only goodness. You spread that positivity even in the material plane, just like what Prabhupada did. We all should be grateful to Prabhupada for what he has done and the way he has taken ISKCON to where it is today, and giving us this opportunity to be associated in some form or the other for some service or the other. Right? And the other thing that Prabhupada says is, when such a person is situated at the spiritual level, he is not affected by honor and dishonor. He performs his duty for Krishna. Okay? He accepts the things that are favorable. See, please understand. He accepts things that are favorable for Krishna consciousness. He rejects all of those things which are unfavorable for him for advancing on the spiritual path. He is equally disposed and sees everything at the equal level, because he knows that he has nothing to do with the material existence. The material world is Maya. We want to get away from this Maya. Correct?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
And there's nothing that you do for yourself. Whatever you do, you're doing for Krishna. And when you do it for Krishna, you're doing it good for everyone else as well. Okay, I can go on, but I'm going to stop. So, Mamcha yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunana samattityettan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Can someone read the translation? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, one who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
Yeah. So the previous one, he says, who is a gunatita? Who is a person who has crossed those gunas? He shows a behavior. What does a person who has transcended the behavior will look like? He's completely engaged in Krishna consciousness. He will not do anything that is unfavorable for him to continue on the path of Krishna consciousness. Now what is he saying? One who engages in full devotion does not fall. At once he transcends. So one who is completely in devotional service is the one who transcends the modes of nature. It sounds the same, but it's not the same. So the previous one, the person who has these behaviors transcends the modes of nature, and he is at the same level of perfection as the Brahman, because the super soul, we are all part of the super soul who is there within us. So when we remain as aloof and as good as a super soul, as perfect as a super soul, we become as similar to the super soul. But we're not the same, because Bhagavan is, far more infinite. We are just an infinite, but we get the gunas of the Bhagavan. Okay? Can someone read this? Second last one. This is the last one for the day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
And I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is constitutional position of the ultimate happiness and which is immortal, imperishable and eternal.
Yes. So please understand, even we are immortal, imperishable, eternal. When I say we are immortal, imperishable, which one is immortal, imperishable, eternal?
Soul.
Soul. So the soul is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. And if we are able to transcend all the modes of the nature, that is all the gunas, and we are able to kind of, live up to all the good behaviors that will help us to kind of keep away these gunas from troubling us, we can reach that level of immortality, imperishability, and eternity as the Lord, because we will become part of Him. We will be free from the material entanglements, right? We will reach Him. We will become a part of Him. We'll be free from the pangs of birth and death. You got it? Did you get
Yes,
it?
Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
So this is the second last verse. So, those of you who have not picked up the book, please pick up the book if you can. Whenever your pocket money permits you, please pick up, because this is a gem. This is something that's for life. Those of you who have it, great, good for you. And those of you who still haven't picked it up, please pick it up. Don't spoil your eyes. Veda base is always there. That's for, quick reference kind of a thing. But, holding a book like this is a pleasure. And these books are hardbound. So, they don't easily tear off and all that stuff. The quality of the paper is quite good. So pick it up.
Mataji, I have Krishna one.
Yeah, Krishna also pick up. It's a beautiful. First
Me
pick
too,
up the
Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita. First pick up the Bhagavad Gita, and then get into Krishna. Because unless you understand the concepts well, you will not appreciate the pastimes of the Lord.
Mataji, I cannot read the sloka nicely. That's
So
why
that
I
will
am.
come. देखो यार, you know what? मैं एक बात बोलूं, हम सब Indians हैं, ठीक है? And Indians होके हमें श्लोकास नहीं आता बोलना ठीक बात नहीं है.
नहीं, मुझे पढ़ना आता है, मैं संस्कृत पढ़ा हूँ, फिर भी वो जो भगवद गीता में है, जो वो तो बहुत टफ है ना.
अरे यार, मैं भी तो कोशिश करके इतना आई हूँ, मैं कर रहा हूँ, तो आप क्यों नहीं करोगे? आप भी करोगे.
I will try it.
Yeah, everybody, all of us can do it. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
I have one question.
Yes.
Why is it necessary to chant the
Why is it necessary to chant the japa, Hare Krishna mantra?
mala in bead?
Because it keeps a count, na? See, the whole idea is, how do we progress? So what is the indication for progress? The indication for progress is some level of, what do you call it? You need to have a measure, right? So this gives you a measure of, how well you're able to concentrate, how much of focus are you able to develop for yourself and on yourself. So it gives you an indication. When we go for studies, the exams indicate where we are in terms of our knowledge and also our recall ability. See, studying is one thing, recall is another thing, right? And putting it into application when you're given a problem is another thing, correct? So that's what an exam tests you. So when you keep a count of it, it gives you that ability to show how much you can really hold on to thinking of the Lord, to put your thoughts on the Lord. Some indication is needed, no? See, when you go to a
Yes.
dietitian.
I have one more question.
Yeah, tell me.
No, you can continue.
No, when you go to a dietitian, the dietitian will give you a measure. Normally they'll give you a measure of how to, what quantities you must take of what, right? So similarly, this is to tell you how you are able to develop yourself in terms of your concentration, because concentration is the one which will help you to keep your focus, and it will also help you, to kind of strengthen your mind and intellect. It will not let your mind wander. The problems that we have today is because of our mind instability. We are all, very, very unstable in our mind. There is multiple things that is distracting us. So how do you keep on track? So this will keep you. Bityan Prabhu. Okay, sure. We'll sing for you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, your next question.
Can you explain about the Apad Dharma in detail and how should we act in Apad Dharma?
Which one, Prabhuji?
Can you explain in detail Apad Dharma?
About Dharma?
Apad Dharma.
What is Apad Dharma?
Yes.
What is Apad Dharma, Prabhuji? I'm sorry, I may not know. What is it?
Like when they're unable.
Can
Mataji, it's like when we are unable to follow the actual rituals, they cut short and do it right. Apad Dharma. I think it is that.
Is that what you're saying, Prabhuji? Is that the one?
yes. If it is time of apocalypse and all, then how should we keep away to a dharma? So how we act in an emergency?
How do you act in an emergency? It is by habit. Remember we saw in chapter 8. We need to, goodness is something comes by habit. We have to cultivate it. In an emergency, if I have to act in a way that is most appropriate, it only happens when I have cultivated myself on a certain path that will help me towards always doing things in an extraordinary way. See, you have seen, there's this beautiful example of Abdul Kalam, our one of the most well-known presidents. He's called the people's president, right? What made Abdul Kalam ji that he was is that his habits. Okay, and when he was leading ISRO, it's not that always everything went well for them. They had some, some things did go wrong. Some of the satellites didn't operate the way it had to operate. Okay, but what made them, whether that particular takeoff went off well or not well, did not affect his balance. Right? He was able to keep himself in good stead because of these habits. Only when you cultivate those habits, and those habits come with a lot of things. It's your effort with respect to getting up early in the morning, keeping your workplace clean, keeping yourself clean, whatever you wear, wear it nice washed clothes. That gives you a lot of, it gives you a lot of, sense of, what do you call it, positivity. It gives you a sense of feeling nice. Yeah, feeling nice need not be we need to be in a palace. Even if we live in a hut, if that hut is well kept, that gives you a lot of energy. So you need to cultivate it. It's a habit. Read good things. Keep the company of good people. People who will probably look at, who is looking at, how to improve their lives, how improve their living conditions within the scope of dharma, not going out of dharma, not going out of, control on things. So it's a habit that you need to cultivate. It's not that, suddenly when I'm put into a situation, I will think something extraordinary. It is a habit. And habits can be developed. Good habits can be developed. In fact, there are very many people who came out of very, very bad habits. So when they could have come out of it, we are not in that state. We at least are in a state where we can look forward, upward. We don't have to look at the downward. We can avoid things that are likely to, keep us, in a state which can be troublesome.
One more question. If I'm a devotee of Krishna and I don't eat non-veg, and if I'm stuck in forest and there is nothing to eat, so is it sinless to hunt animal and to eat?
Forest में fruits भी होंगे ना कहीं.
If there is not anything to eat,
leaves होंगे ना. पत्ते तो, पानी तो होगा, पानी तो पी सकते हैं हाँ?
Yes.
See, the question is, very often, see, when I look at it for a soldier who's there out there on the borders in a cold climate, for him I can understand. But for normal people like us, if you are going to the forest, pack some food and take it with you to the forest. Don't go without some packed food.
No, Mataji, in case of or some.
See, I don't think today, I was just talking to my family. Today, everything is available. Earlier, if the milk didn't come on time, it will be difficult for the family to give milk to the family, tea, coffee, or whatever. Horlicks, boost for the children. But today, you step out, you get everything. 24 by 7, shops are available. And if I forgot to stock milk, if I kind of book it through a Dunzo or a Swiggy or Zepto or whatever, I get it in half an hour's time in my doorstep. So today our life is very, very different. And if we kind of think that, some emergency will occur, it is highly remote. And in that emergency also, if you really have that goodness in you and if you really pray to Lord will give you the food. Don't worry about that. And why do you even think of those kind of emergencies? Think of good things. No, shubh shubh bolo na.
Yes,
Mataji. Shubh shubh socho. Don't think of those things which are negative and which will make you feel, which will transport you to a world which only, when things are good, why do you want to transport yourself to that world? Hai
Yes, Mataji.
If army devotee goes to any Antarctica, that place, ice place, तो वो उसको तो वहाँ पे ऐसा खाना वगैरह तो नहीं मिलेगा, जो वहाँ से मिलेगा वही खाना पड़ेगा. इफ देयर इज वेजिटेबल, सोचिए आपका वो वेजिटेबल खत्म हो गया या ऐसा कुछ वेजिटेबल मतलब वो हो गया, खराब हो गया, तो तब क्या करेंगे?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, वहां यदि वेजिटेबल लेके जाओगे खराब नहीं होगा, बिकॉज इतना ठंड होगी वहां पर, खराब तो नहीं होगी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल. ओके. एंड हम में से
नहीं, वो आने के वो होता है ना, गर्मी से मतलब ट्रांसपोर्ट के लिए सोचिए 2-3 दिन अटक गया, ऐसे तो हो ही सकता है.
You guys all live in a world where where the air tickets are so reasonably available to you people, huh?
Mataji, 1 second. Like if we want to be, like eat only veg and all, and we trust Krishna will make some circumstances that we get veg food.
Absolutely. I just love your spirit, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Absolutely. So Prabhuji, why do you think of things? आप में से को अभी अंटार्कटिका कौन जाने वाला है, आर्कटिक कौन जाने वाला है? अभी
नहीं, जो बर्फ के जगह पे रहता है ना, वो उसका ही बोल रहा है कि वो सोचिए वो डिवोटी है, कैसे रह पाएगा वो?
I'm sure that there will be some senior Vaishnavas and devotees who will probably have some some guidance for them. Right now, probably I'm not able to imagine that kind of a situation, but I do know a lot of our association group members who actually don't even take coffee, tea. They don't take food outside because garlic and onions and all also they kind of avoid. So they carry a lot of food, not only for themselves but also to give food to other people in the group. That much I promise you. Like what Mataji said, automatically you will have ways and means of supporting your discipline. If you're disciplined, you will definitely find a way to hold on to that.
अच्छा, मुझे एक क्वेश्चन है. सोचिए एक फैमिली में वहाँ पे नॉनवेज खाता है, ठीक है, तो उनका वो जो लड़का है वो सोचता है कि मैं वैष्णव बनूंगा तो मैं वेज खाऊंगा, तो कैसे पॉसिबल है वो?
I understand, today if you really look at India is the only country where vegetarian is probably available. But even within that, I think a majority are non-vegetarians.
Non-vegetarian.
Yeah. So I know that several people in families have that issue. But even there also, you know, chawal to hoga, dal to
पर
hogi.
जो वो जो सोचिए उसका मम्मी जो कुक कर रहा है वो यूटेंसिल में तो नॉनवेज भी को कुक हो रहा है ना.
तो आराम से देखो, आराम से you have to make that progression. Overnight you can't tell your family, you know, मैं अभी कृष्णा कॉन्शियस बन गया हूँ, मैं वैष्णवा बन गया हूँ, मुझे ये चाहिए, तो नहीं होने वाला है. लेकिन एक दिन तो आएगा जब आप खुद बना के खा सकते हो. That's why I tell everybody, learn to cook your own meal. It's not only
पर
about
मम्मी रहती है तो ऐसा
मम्मी
थोड़ी
रहती
होता
है,
है.
मम्मी को भी, you know, she'll also be growing old, and she will love it when you cook something for her and give. कोविड में कितने लोगों ने, कितने घरों में, you know, how many people learned cooking. अभी तो कोविड नहीं है, लेकिन हम लर्न कर सकते हैं ना. It will help you, no? Cooking is always helpful. See, one day you will start living in the hostel. तब तो अम्मा तो आपके साथ तो नहीं रहने वाली. And when you take up a job and go to another city, अम्मा will be in one city, you will be in one city. You don't have to go and eat from a hotel. You can cook. दाल चावल सब्जी बनाने के लिए आएगा तो बस वो काफी है ना. कितनी अच्छी अच्छी सब्जियां मिलती है आजकल, साल भर मिलती है.
I can cook, Mataji. I'm in hotel industry.
Who is this, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Prathamesh.
Wow, you have your own eatery?
Yes.
Wow, very nice, very nice. Hare Krishna. That's so nice. So I think, you know what, people like you should get together. You know, we have a Sattvic cook series that we do every Saturday. So come and, you know, show people how to cook Sattvic khana without onion and garlic. So, you know, we have those YouTubes, you know, a lot of these Matajis and Prabhujis and all come and show. So maybe you all, you know, all young people like you should also participate and come and show. There's one Mataji called Rajini Mataji. She's the one who conducts these shows. So please, try to reach out to her. I will ask the admin people to put her, link for you in the group so that you can reach out and come and show some Sattvic cooking for us, Prathamesh ji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm sorry, I think we have exceeded the time being a Sunday.
Mataji, today there was a session of Amarendranath Prabhuji from ISKCON, Amarendra Dasa.
Amarendra Das Prabhu.
Yeah, I attended the session. It was very good.
Very nice. You liked it?
Yes, Mataji.
He's very good, isn't he?
Yeah. Sometimes when I get time, I watch his videos. And also of Amoglila Das Prabhuji.
Yeah, they will appeal to the young people like you, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice. Full of energy. And all of them, you know, became Krishna conscious at a very young age. And it's not that they gave up their studies.
Yes, Mataji.
They're all highly educated. Highly educated, and therefore, you know, their appeal to people, cross sections of people is very high. Right? So look at that. They are in the Sattvic Guna. They have knowledge and they're using the knowledge for the right purpose. Aren't they?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, would you agree? So keep listening to all such, we have a lot of people, very good speakers, and they live the life like that. It's not that they're only speaking. They live a life of a Shuddha Sattvic, Guna person, right? Even our Prabhuji, you know, Namanishta Das Prabhuji, you'll be amazed by his energy. You'll be amazed by his energy. You will be amazed by his vivaciousness. So positive. He's also from the IIT. He finished his BTech from IIT Kanpur. And he worked for Infosys for 2 years. And after that, he got into Krishna consciousness. He's the president of ISKCON Mangalore. He's been a teacher for a very long time. And now he's also, you know, building a temple for ISKCON in Mangalore. I think they must have shared that video with you all, no? The group. Did they share?
No, Mataji.
Nah? Why are these admins not doing anything? maybe they missed it. And one more thing I want to tell you all, I will let me share it here with you.
Mataji, maybe I didn't check properly. I don't know.
Who's this Mataji? Hare Krishna Mataji?
Bhumika Mataji.
Bhumika Mataji. Just check Mataji. They must have shared with you all.
Mataji.
Give me a minute. I will also share a link with you, which I promised. Try your personality, your spiritual personality quotient. Give me a minute. I'll just post it right. And do you all, can you all post in your groups, or you all can't?
No,
No,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Can't, is it? So if you can, maybe we'll post it again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. 1 minute. I will post it in the chat for you now. Yeah, I've posted this for you. Just copy this link into your browser, and I will also open this link right away so that I show you how you need to look this up. Okay.
Mataji, which one is your number?
1 minute, Prabhuji. My number.
Yes.
I am not. We teachers have been asked not to share our numbers. That's why we are also not there in your group.
Oh, you have shared in chat. Okay, I was searching in WhatsApp.
No. I'm just looking in. So I'm just showing it to you here. Okay. So this is called the Vedic Personality Inventory. So 1 stands for strongly agree. 2 is strongly disagree. Somewhat disagree. 4 stands for neutral. 5 is somewhat agree. 6 is strongly agree, and 7 is very strongly agree. So very strongly disagree is 1, very strongly agree is 7. Okay. So you shouldn't think too much about the question. Here I am straightforward in my dealings with people. So you have to think just for maybe a few seconds and answer. You should not think for half a day and put the answer. Then the answer will not reflect your true personality. Okay. So answer this question, automatically you'll get a score. You don't have to share the score with anybody. There are 56 questions. Then when you submit the form, you will get a score, which will show you how much of Sattva Guna you have, how much of Rajaguna you have, and how much of Tamaguna you have in you. Okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Is it okay?
Yes, Mataji.
So I've told you how to do this questionnaire. So it's a questionnaire with 58 questions and 7 options for each question. Okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Try it out. So tomorrow, I think some of our members left. Tomorrow I'll put it again. But this is very nice. Okay. So Hare Krishna. So we will meet tomorrow, and tomorrow's chapter is 15. Can you imagine? We have come to 15th chapter.
Yes, Mataji. Days go very fast.
Very nice, no? And I'm so happy all of you are talking, all of you are interacting. And I'm so glad that some of you are, have grasped these things so well. And I'm really, I feel blessed, and I will pray for all of you that each of you achieve your goals and stay on the path of spirituality and Krishna consciousness. But please, whenever your pocket money permits, buy yourself a copy of this Bhagavad Gita book, and don't give up. 18 days will get over, but don't give up.
Mataji, I want to show you the Bhagavad Gita. I choose to read this one.
Sure, 1 minute. So tomorrow's chapter is called the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, you can show. Put your camera on. Show it. I'll
1 minute.
Okay. And there's small versions of the book available like this. I also keep a copy, like this. It has just the shlokas. It's available in the Gita Press. Okay. It just has the shloka and the translation for quick reference. And I always have it on my table, and I also have one in my handbag. Always. Sometimes suddenly some thought might come. I may want to see, okay, where is it? It just helps me. And Gita Press, that way is a Gita Press book. It's not very expensive, some $100 or something. Okay. So Prabhuji, are you showing?
Yes, Mataji.
Where is it? Unless you put your camera on, how will we see?
No, I am searching where
You're
it
searching.
was.
You keep it ready for tomorrow. Shall we see tomorrow?
Okay, okay.
We'll see tomorrow. So come and join
Oh, I
us.
have got it, got it.
Okay, sure. One second. Let me spotlight you. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita as it is. Yes, very good. It's the same book, right? And is it has both the Sanskrit and the transliteration and the translation?
Yes, Mataji.
Does everything?
Yes.
Okay, super. It has everything. No, show me the chapters. Yeah, no, it has that. Yeah, it has the meaning. It's the same thing. We all have the same thing. Great. Okay, super. You must have bought it from some other agency.
No, I have not bought it. My father is a trustee.
Member, so you got it there. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So Hare Krishna everyone. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hari Bol. We'll meet tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.